All right, so the first question that got asked was 2a, number 8. So find an equation of the tangent line to this plus cosine of x at x equals 0. Okay, so we have to use quotient rule to take this derivative, right? So it's low d high. So the derivative of 1 is 0 minus high, and then d low, cosine of x minus sine of x, all over square the bottom, and off you go. Okay, so this is all gone. So let's just simplify it. So I'm going to multiply the negative through. So I get negative cosine of x plus sine of x. And I think I've said it quite a few times in the lectures, never multiply the numerator out, or I'm sorry, the denominator out. Okay, so now you want to say I'm going to plug in 0. So there's y prime or f prime of x. So then, right, because this is the same, f prime of x is, and now I'm saying f prime of 0. Be careful you're saying now I'm plugging in 0. So I get negative 1 plus 0, 0 plus 1 squared. So that gives me a negative 1 for the slope. So I want to find the y value, so I need to put this x value into here. So y of 0 is 1 over 0 plus 1, so that's 1. So the point is 0, 1. So I have y minus 1 is equal to negative 1, x minus 0. All right, so the other question that got asked was on 2D, number 15. All right, nice ugly guy. So cotangent of 4x times 3x minus 9 all cubed. And so you're to find dy over dx. So that means the same thing as saying find y prime. So right away I recognize there's product rule going on. So I'm going to say first d second. So to take this derivative, I'm going to bring this 3 down, and I'm always going to put this here first so I don't forget it. Carry along the inside, and then I'm going to multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is 3, because the derivative of 9 is 0, plus second d first. So the derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. So make sure you put parentheses here, because without it, it would look like subtraction, right? Carry along the 4x, and then multiply by the derivative of 4x, which is 4. All right, so then on E, let me move it to the next page here. Homework E, number 3. So I'm going to get my calculator out. I got it right here. All right. So a cup of coffee has a temperature of 80 degrees, so that's your initial temperature. And then it's kept in a room of 20 degrees, so that's your surrounding temperature. So you know that the temperature equation is T sub 0, or initial temperature, minus Ts, e to the kt, plus Ts. So that gives me 80 minus 20, e to the kt, plus 20. All right, so now I'm going to use the information they give me. So after half an hour, so you could use minutes or you could use hours. I gave both of the answers. So after half an hour, so I'm going to say when little t is 30, the coffee cools, so temperature is 60. So I'm going to set this equal to 60, and this is 60 as well. I'm going to put little t as 30. Plus 20. So subtract, divide, and this is the part that I told you I really want to make sure you're solving for e to the k. So this is 4 over 6 to the 1 over 30 power, because I'm going to take the 1 over 30 power to solve for the e to the k. So now I'm going to put the e to the k right back here, right? So this gives me the temperature is 60. And instead of the e to the k, I'm putting in 4 over 6, and then this exponent of t is multiplied that times that 1 over 30, so that's t over 30 plus 20. Now I'm ready to answer the question. So when will the chocolate have cooled to 40 degrees? So I'm setting it equal to 40. So then I'm going to subtract 20 and then divide through by 60. Now I take the ln of both sides. And these could simplify, I'm just choosing not to. So multiply the 30 over and divide through by the ln, and there's your t. All right, number 15 on that same one, on 2e, oops, 2e, number 15 is g of x, x cosine of pi over x. Okay, so this pi over x, invest the time to rewrite it as pi times 1 over x, or the same thing as saying pi x to the negative 1. So that would be a really good thing to rewrite before you take the derivative. All right, so now let's do it. So first, derivative of the second. So that's negative, oops, negative sign, I meant to write. Negative sign, carry the angle along, then multiply by the derivative of the angle. So this negative comes down, x to the negative 2, plus cosine pi x to the negative 1 times 1. So let's clean this up. It's looking pretty ugly. Oops, like I missed a parentheses here. All right, so I have a negative and I have another negative, right? So let's make it positive. And then I see a pi and an x. So let me just start off with that. Pi and x sine, and here's my angle, pi x to the negative 1. And then this here, right, this is still x to the negative 2. And then plus cosine pi x to the negative 1. Okay, so then I'm going to rewrite this. So let's put it like it began. This x to the negative 2 is the same thing as saying x squared in the denominator. And I'll write like how the angle came at me at first. So I cancel that. And I get 1x in the denominator. So take lots of steps so that you get the answer correct. All right, one more. So let's do 2e, number 4. So y is equal to the square root of the sine of the square root of x. That's a lot of radicals. All right, so let's bring this outside 1/2 down. So it's all going to be to the negative 1/2. Carry the inside along. Now take the derivative of the sine, which is cosine. Carry the angle along. Now let's take the derivative of the angle, so that's 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. All right, so I want you to know how to rewrite these exponents in the denominator if you need to. So let's look at the numbers that I've got going on. So I've got 2 1/2, so that gives me a 1/4. So just going slow. This is to the negative 1/2, so I'm going to put that in the denominator. So this is the same thing as saying sine of root x in the denominator. So this cosine of root x is up here, and I still have this, right? So now I'm going to take the time to put it in the denominator. So it's the same thing as saying root sine of root x times a root x. Okay, so you know that root a times root b is the same thing as saying root ab. So I could join these two radicals together. So this would all under one square root. So I can say that this is root x times sine of root x. And there we go.